Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch. What do you think of the idea of creating NPCs in your game using artificial intelligence and machine learning? That is a tool to create and control those characters and what they say based off of what your world is populated with. Well, that is the entire idea behind inworld. This one actually has some support behind it, specifically NVIDIA Inception, Disney Accelerator X, and then recently, as in just a couple days ago, they received an Epic MegaGrant. So obviously some people are pretty excited about this concept. Now, there are certainly areas of this that make me a little bit worried, not in terms of this technology taking over the world, just in terms of this technology and its actual uses, but you're also going to find some of this is actually quite impressive. So if you want to check it out, it is available at inworld.ai. We're going to go through, take a look at it in depth, but the entire idea behind this is basically used for gaming or modding, entertainment, metaverse, digital workforce, and so on. So if you need to create a chat bot and all this stuff, it obviously can be used for that kind of stuff, but they're also aiming it at making it so that your NPCs that think, talk, and act for themselves. So that's kind of the idea behind it. There's a pretty simple process in creating your characters, and then on top of that, they have integrations for both the Unity game engine as well as Unreal and the generic Node.js based implementation, so you can integrate these into whatever language or tool you wish. So let us take a look at it in action. So they've got an example set up. This is sort of like an Alice in Wonderworld, Alice in Wonderland style game that they set up, and they've created a number of characters to populate that game. So you see here, you have a workspace at the top. You can create a new workspace here. The workspace in itself is then used for populating with characters, scenes, common knowledge, and integrations. Now, we're going to go this kind of a little bit in reverse. So common knowledge is the common knowledge in your world. Those are things that people would know about, and they use this. The machine learning model uses this for actually determining responses. So you can, for example, here describe Wonderland to the AI, and here you can see all the various different details of what Wonderland is all about, and then the AI will use this to populate it with a variety of characters inside of Wonderland. So this is where the knowledge specific to your game comes from. So if you have an in-depth and sprawling RPG, this is where the knowledge would be done. And then on top of that, you have a variety of different scenes. These are different areas in the world. You can also define triggers within those areas, and then you populate these areas. We also have integrations. These are basically SDKs for both Unity and Unreal Engine, and then Node.js, and then otherwise you've got your characters. So here you can see we've got 5 different characters that have been defined. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Queen of Hearts. On the one hand, you have a description that kind of describes her. This is probably used by the other AIs when dealing with the Queen of Hearts, and then you define what this entity is all about. So you say male, female, villain is a villain or otherwise. I'll show you actually creating a character in a second. We'll go through all these things, but we also go here, you define their emotions, the knowledge that they are aware of. So you can also give individual knowledge to a character, so things that that character actually knows about. And then they have access to various different fonts of knowledge. So you can have things in your knowledge database that are only known by certain people. Let's say you had magic lore, and that would only be used and known by the magic-related characters in the world, for example. So that is how the knowledge gets fed to these entities. Then we've got the voice. This is, in all honesty, the area I think is by far the weakest point of inworld, other than one other thing we'll talk about in a bit. I find the artificial intelligence voices, there's a ton of them, they don't sound good to me.
Hello, I'm the Queen of Hearts.
Like, they're terrible text-to-speech voices, and there are much better solutions out there.
Hello, I'm the Queen of Hearts.
So I don't find any of these.
Hello, I'm the Queen of Hearts.
I would not use any of those in a real-world environment. So I think they should pair up with one of those AI-based voice, text-to-voice kind of generation companies, so make it actually sound like real people. Because you're never going to convince me that this is voice acting, whereas some of the solutions out there are actually being used in place of voice acting. So this is definitely the weak area, in my opinion. It just sounds like text-to-speech, in my opinion. You do have control over how this person talks and some example feedback of how their dialogue would go. We've got some experimental things going on here as well. And then, so you can populate that character into a scene. So now let's see what it actually is like. So this is the Queen of Hearts. I'm going to go ahead and do a chat with her. This is like an IM-based chat, but this obviously you could hook it up with an API in your game world. And then when your character talks to this NPC, this would pop up. So who are you?
I am the Queen of Hearts, ruler over all of Wonderland.
So again, the text-to-speechiness is bad. That's definitely an area they need to work on because it's not going to convince me that it's an NPC. But if you're not using speech in your game, you're actually doing straight-out text, it's not necessarily a deal breaker. So who is the King of Hearts?
The king of my heart, of course.
And then where is the Cheshire Cat? Okay, I spelled that wrong. Hopefully I'm close enough. All right, here we go. So these are knowledge. This is world-related knowledge it's going to work from. And
The Cheshire Cat is a troublemaker who lives in a tree in the woods of Wonderland. He loves to cause trouble for me and my kingdom.
again, the speech itself is terrible, but the words it's generating are not that bad. Now, if you start asking things outside of their domain, you're going to get those generic bad answers. So how bad are AMD stocks doing today? All right. So there's no way that she know an
I
answer
do not
to this.
know what that is, and I do not care.
So, but you will notice from the answer, she's angry or grumpy. That is kind of cool. That is one of the aspects you can configure with your character. So you give them knowledge. It uses AI to figure out responses to your queries. And then on top of that, the tone and the way that the characters respond are also being controlled. So that is kind of one of the sample interactions. I'll go up here to characters, and we're going to create our own, kind of show you the process. Let's go ahead and create Bob Dole. So, in doing so, you describe your character. Bob Dole died recently after a fight with man, bear, pig. Saving the world from man, bear, pig. So, you go through here, you define the entities of your character. So, pig fighter. You say, are they young, are they old, or so on. This will all kind of, it's shaping how the AI is going to treat this person. So this person is, say, middle age. Go through, give them various different hobbies and so on. You can also feed in or link to a Wikipedia link if you're trying to recreate someone from history or otherwise. Then we go through, and basically now we are just setting up the emotions of this character. So this person is sad, angry, disgusted, nervous, very dynamic in their fluidity, quite negative, very aggressive, quite open, quite extroverted, and full-on fastest. All right, so there is Bob Dole as defined. We can give Bob Dole a number of facts. Man, bear, pig is going to kill us all. All right, there we go. And then again, you can add in common knowledge. So if we wanted to give him knowledge of Wonderland, boom, we could do so. Of course, we could author our own common knowledge. This is where you teach the AI about the world that you are in. Now we got to give him some form of voice. So we start with one of their sources. So let's start with Charles.
Hello, I'm Bob Dole.
See, again, they're all very digitally, which is unfortunate.
Hello, I'm Bob Dole.
And let's slow him down a little bit.
Hello, I'm Bob Dole.
All right, so that's Bob Dole. We gave him a default dialogue slot. He is blunt, angry, and so on. What the hell do you want? All right, and again, we got a couple of experimental features, and that is it. We just created our character, and now we can chat with Bob Dole. I think. Maybe I need to save it. Unable to train character due to invalid example dialogue formatting. All right, where was my example dialogue? All right, maybe I'll just get rid of that and see if we can save now. All right, so Bob Dole is now created. What are you doing, Bob?
I'm fighting man, bear, pig. You?
So you can see how it works. Should we be afraid of man, bear, pig?
Yes, we should be afraid of him.
There we go. So that is kind of the idea behind this. Basically, you define your world, you give it as much information as possible, and then it kind of uses AI to do the dialogue trees, etc. In terms of integration, as I mentioned earlier on, Unity and Unreal Engine are the two big ones. You need to do an API call in order to make these things work. The instructions are all available right here. There's a couple of other neat things in here as well. So for example, you can hook it up for lip syncing, animation controllers, and so on. So if you've got 3D models in your world that come out, it can automatically sync up the dialogue to your 3D model and that kind of stuff. Way beyond what I want to cover here. You also got support for realistic eye movements, and so on. So you got full integration on making like the logic or the brains that you just created work in your world. So there are integrations, once again, for Unity and for the Unreal Engine. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is inworld. Again, if you're interested in checking out, it is inworld.ai. There are two major issues I see with this one. First off, the text-to-speech. The voices need to be realistic, and they're not yet. They sound like text-to-speach voices. So I think that's a problem that actually already has solutions. There are companies out there that are making very realistic voices. So kind of pair them with that, and you are good to go. Or, of course, if your game doesn't actually use the speech. So if you're just writing, so it's using text-based delivery, that definitely works for me. Now, the next thing is, how does this actually work from a technical perspective? You'll see here, if I go to my account, we can actually upgrade to various different plans, and you'll notice here it's all done on interactions. So these are designed around developers, and then basically when you're ready to deploy this, you pay them whatever they ask for. I don't really know how that works. So basically you're paying on interaction time with the characters here. So it's 600 minutes included interaction for $25 a month, and then 4 cents per 15 seconds thereafter. Now, if you think about this for a second, if you are paying 4 cents for 15 seconds of interaction in a game, and you have players out there that are playing hundreds of hours of game, that could get pretty expensive pretty quick. But then again, I do believe all of this pricing here, these two tiers are for the development side of things, and then when you are ready to go, you basically pay for it right in some other manner. So I don't know what this would ultimately cost you. And then the other big question I have with inworld is, if this way this all works, it seems like it's still running on their servers. So your game is going to need to have an always-on connection to inworld servers. Now, I'm not sure that this is the case, but I saw nothing in the documentation for either Unity or Unreal Engine deployment. Like, you set up a key and you hook up to their servers. I never saw anything about building a data model that you could deploy or anything like that. So you're going to need an always-on internet connection to have NPC logic, and that's going to be a deal breaker for 99% of game developers, I think. So if your game is online only, you're already online, not a big deal there. But if you're trying to create a traditional game, but you want to have AI-powered NPCs, if the brains of this only work with a connection to in-world servers, that is very limiting. Now, I'm not saying that that is the case, but I'm not seeing anything to see that it's not the case, and that is a pretty big deal. But anyways, the technology is definitely interesting. You can see how you could use this to, even if that you kind of move away from that and you use this as you just run it through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of iterations, it could do the dialogue for you, create a giant database offline, but it doesn't seem to exist yet. But the technology does definitely seem to be interesting. It has to seemingly has a pretty good grasp of what these various different emotions are like. I like the way you populate data. I like the idea behind the technology. I just don't know if it's immediately useful. But again, you do have companies like Epic Games, Disney, and so on that are throwing their support behind this. So inworld definitely has a future. I'm just curious what you think of the idea of using AI, machine learning, and all of that stuff to power the NPCs in your game or title. Let me know what you think. Comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.